morning. Let's sing, friends. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. My side's a little small. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, come. All right, and our next song to get us ready for worship this morning is Keep On Moving Forward.
In these times, friends, we are going to keep on moving forward.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. It is a pleasure to see you here this blooming spring morning. Longtime members, newcomers, those returning, and those watching online. My name is Preston Wilson, and I will be your celebrations associate today. If you are new or visiting for the first time, I invite you to fill out a yellow pew card and place it in the offertory plate. You can also drop it off at the welcome table in the parlor after the service. This is where we also have, through these doors, this is where we also have coffee, tea, snacks, and conversations after the service. Thank you for being with us today. We gather this day to nurture our connections, seek inspiration, and embrace change. Imagination is our theme for this November. Personally, this sanctuary at this time every week is where I can breathe freely experience kindness, and find camaraderie and support among new and old friends alike. I hope that you feel the same. Please take a moment at your convenience to read the announcements in our order of service and by scanning the QR code to receive the link on your phone to read them. The success of so many of our church activities depends upon your generous and voluntary participation. Today we have two special announcements. The first from Fred Balfour on the process of becoming a 501c organization, and the second from Marie McCrae, who will talk about the strategic planning.
This is similar to folding clothes in the average household. It's one of the most boring things you have to do, but it's absolutely necessary. I'm Fred Balfour, President of the Board of Trustees. I'm speaking today on behalf of Board Trustee Ren Tuatha. She's the spokesperson for the board and normally would be doing this. If you have any board questions, she's the one to see. She sends her regrets for being absent. First Unitarian Society of Ithaca's bylaws require that legal meetings of the society be announced on the 2 Sundays preceding that meeting. I'm making that announcement. The annual meeting of this society will be held this year on May 21st, 2025, in the Society's sanctuary at 306 North Aurora Street at 6 p.m. Pizza at 5:30. The agenda and other information will be sent to all members either by email or U.S. Postal Service or the weekly announce. I'm also required to announce one of the items on the agenda. The Society is currently a tax-exempt organization. Not surprising, most churches are. However, we do not yet hold official 501c3 status. We are in the process of applying for this designation for 2 benefits. One is to expand our eligibility for grants, more money, and the second is to be eligible for employer matching gift programs. As part of the application requirements, we must amend our Articles of Incorporation dated 1868, handwritten, by the way. The proposed amendments will be presented for a vote by the membership at our upcoming annual meeting on Wednesday, May 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the church sanctuary. Members will be receiving a mailing outlining the details of these amendments. Boring part is over.
Good morning. I'm Marie McCrae, and I'm here today representing the Strategic Planning Group. I want to speak to you about the significance of the 3 questions that you may have seen already if you're a member of the listserv. But to quickly review, the questions are, what would you tell a newcomer to Ithaca about FUSIT? How would you describe FUSIT to them? What prompts you, or would prompt you, to be a member here in the FUSIT community, and what would enhance that experience for you? And lastly, what are the goals that you would like to see in FUSIT's plan for the next 3 to 5 years? We all make our own strategic plans in ourselves and our families, and this is a really important plan going forward for our community for the next 5 years. So the answers to these questions are part of the spiritual task of deciding as a community where we want to put our resources and energies going forward. We want to know what matters most to you. The goal of the planning group is to build a strategic plan representative of the needs and wants of every member of this community, congregants, youth, staff, newcomers, everybody. We want all of your answers. We can't build this plan without your input. That would be impossible. There are several ways to submit your answers. Email is fastest. You can ask me after the service for the return email address, or you can check your inbox because I sent it out this morning again. There will be a sealed box in the parlor for the next couple of weeks. You can drop it in there, signed or unsigned, doesn't matter. You can also send your answers via snail mail to Michelle at the church address. Again, signed or unsigned, doesn't matter. It matters that you give us your responses. We really thank you for your participation and hope that you will be happily part of this planning process. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred and Marie. Now, before we light the chalice, let's take a couple of minutes to introduce ourselves and offer our greetings to those sitting around us. The chalice today will be lit by Kim Milling. Please join him and myself in saying the chalice lighting words, which are printed in your order of service and on the screen above. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Thank you, Kim.
In the soft light of this flame, may our lives shimmer anew. May we notice new possibilities in those relationships that seem lost. May the hunger growing within give birth to new dreams. May the courage of letting go pull a new story into view. May what is give way to what might be. May we believe again in the world that we imagine. And may we know in our hearts that there is more love somewhere. Friends, I invite you to rise, embody your spirit as my young friends that I chatted with come up and grab baskets for our Side with Love collection. And we all sing there is more love somewhere. You can find the words up on the screen behind me.
There is more love somewhere. morning, everybody. I would like to invite anyone who is young or feeling young at heart to come join me on the stage for a time of wonder. All right. Who has not opened up the Wonder Box recently? Eli, do you want to open it up?
Yeah. And it's an entire thing of fruits.
Here, do you want to pull out this basket first?
Yeah.
Yep, pull that out.
There's like a pineapple in here too.
There's like a pineapple in here. This pineapple smells so good. Does anyone want to smell this pineapple? Here, don't bite into anything. Can somebody tell me where fruit come from? There's a lot of answers to this. Trees, vines, bushes.
Pineapples just come from other pineapples. It's grown.
Pineapples just come from other pineapples. It's true. It's true. Anything else? Here, pass that pineapple around. It smells so good. Pass that around. Some sensory experience. We can put this over here. All right, so we discovered that, please don't eat them. Oh, they're already eating them. I don't know if we have enough fruit for everyone. I guess pass the fruit around. So fruit come from trees and vines and pineapples. Right, and what do we do with this fruit?
Consume.
We consume it. Yep, you guys got there already. So what do the fruit do for us when we eat them?
Energy.
Hey guys,
Delicious.
what do the fruit do for us when we eat them?
They're tasty.
They give us nutrients.
Nutrients, and their juice is delicious. They taste so good. What would happen if we only ate like one type of fruit and like only fruit all the time forever? What would happen? Okay. Maybe you wouldn't get all the nutrients you would need, right? All right, so we need a good variety, right? You can eat that, yeah, you can eat that.
What about this?
You could eat that too. We have more snacks if you don't have a fruit. We have more snacks upstairs. I don't recommend. So what we've come to the conclusion of is we need a lot of variety of food. We need vegetables, we need fruits, but we also need other things. We'll cut the kiwi later, I promise. So that we can be fully nourished, okay? And we can think of our church community and our RE program specifically as a living organism, right? We need lots of different fruit in order to keep our program nourished and full. So you can look over here. Hi, Emily. Hi. You can look over here. You can see my tree is a little sad. There are some fruit missing from it. We've gotten a few sign-ups to help with our RE program next year. But we need so much more. I know watermelons do not grow on trees. That's true. Public service announcement, watermelons do not grow on trees. But we have lots of different fruit available for anyone who is looking to participate in the RE program. It can be something small. Does anyone have small fruit that they haven't already consumed all the way? Like a plum or a strawberry or a raspberry?
I ate my strawberry.
Or it can be something bigger. Does anyone have big fruit that they also have not consumed all the way? Like a pineapple or a watermelon. It's very chaotic up here. We love fruit. Yeah, exactly. So after service today, I'm going to be walking around coffee hour with a clipboard, and I invite you to come visit me, see what fruit are available, and possibly sign up for one to put your fruit on the tree later. So at this time, parents and caregivers, if you have not yet registered your young person for RE, please remember that it is required for their participation in all of this fruit eating. And I invite any young people who would like to join me in RE to meet me in the parlor, as well as any parents who still need to sign their children or youth in. You can sing our children and youth out with Where You Go, words on the screen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
Thanks. Oh, that's better. Okay. And I'm on the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and I'm here to satisfy your potential curiosities. What's going on out there with the bricks and the trees, you might say? Well, sadly, the big honey locust trees along Aurora Street had to be removed. Their roots' habit of swelling up to absorb rain had got to the point of heaving up the sidewalk, and the ones along Buffalo Street might not be long in following. The species is very water-seeking. Their roots even made it through our foundation wall on the Buffalo Street side, following water from a leaky drain connection from the downspout near the door that's right over there. That had been going on for a long time, and together with a little crack in the threshold, maybe, enough water had been getting in to start rotting a joist under the entrance without being noticed for years. Well, we hired Don Ruff, a carpenter engineer, to jack up the floor and put in a new joist with a piece of I-beam. And we hired old Dave from Roto-Rooter to get roots and muck out of the pipe leading to the storm drain. He would get more excited the more muck we were pulling up, like, "We're getting it now," he would say. I can still hear him. And I cut out roots and took on making a new connection to the pipe that no water could leak out of, and found a wonderful material in truck inner tube rubber, thanks to Caskey's truck repair out on Route 13. After telling someone I needed it, or something like it, for a volunteer project at our church, I was gifted with a whole inner tube. There's a lesson there somewhere. That was many years ago now, but the roots on the side next to Buffalo Street are still bulging and making bricks pop up to make tripping hazards. This fall, Beverly West hired her own landscaper to repair the worst places there to make the bricks less of a danger, a very worthwhile fix, and thanks, Beverly. I couldn't attend to it myself this whole past year, as my broken wrist was still recovering, but it's good to go now, yay. Recently on the Aurora Street side, that's over there, the roots continued heaving the sidewalk, eventually to the point that it was tipping the wrong way. Instead of going to the street, it was tipping it toward the church. And it was making either a puddle or a sheet of ice right next to our corner entrance, you may remember. That got the city involved. Taking, our comments over the years finally got taken seriously. So taking things firmly in hand, the city removed the honey locusts on that side, poured a new sidewalk, and planted the cute cherry trees you see now, all in one go. The dirt fill in between is temporary. We had stacked the bricks away to save them. The verge is city property, but there are bricks. Here's where I stuck my neck out and offered to head up the brick relaying project. And Sarah agreed to that because I'd done it before, back in 2005. It's actually not that much work to put the bricks back, because once the dirt is scraped off, the base from 20 years ago should be still there for the most part. Around the trees will require some extra care, and there's a definite technique to follow. I'll be there most Saturday mornings, other times as weather and schedules allow. We'll do one section at a time, and we'll probably get all the bricks back by mid-June. If it sounds like fun, well, it sure is. No particular skills required. We can't all be expert, as Tom Wright, who was helping me yesterday. He's exceptionally skilled, and we're very lucky to have him. See me if you have any questions or would like to help, or if this sounds like something that would make for fun conversations and you might have some input. Hey, think about joining Buildings and Grounds. We have only a few of us. So that's all.
Good morning. In a spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time now to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community. to share those events that call for our prayers and support, our praise and celebration. From our church administrator, Michelle Waffner, I would like to thank everyone who reached out and provided support during this challenging time with my family. When I started work at FUSIT, one of the first things I noticed was the sense of community and the care that people had for other congregants. I was honored to be on the receiving end of this. For those we are holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayers, into this community, into this space of healing and hope, let us call these names out loud or speak them in our hearts right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world, and let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, let our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be, and amen.
My name is Tatiana. I will be doing the meditation today. We bow our heads in order to imagine not one path, but many. We imagine a path forward for those who cannot imagine any path forward because of poor health, financial hardship, family crisis, and other roadblocks we cannot begin to understand or imagine. We struggle to imagine a path forward for those who are forced to leave a homeland against their will, and for those unable to leave a war-torn homeland despite their lives being in danger. We imagine a path forward for those who leave their homes to make a better life for their families elsewhere. We may be a welcoming presence along that path toward hope. We come together to imagine a path forward for those of us despairing because we do not seem to know our country nor our neighbors, despite the fact that we have not moved at all. May we be the good we are hoping to find as we travel side by side down the path toward hope. We imagine a path forward for those who feel lonely. May we take one another's hands as we walk the path toward community. Truly, we know as we imagine these ways forward and take one another's hands, the paths will lead to hope. The roads will lead to beloved community, and the arc will bend toward justice because we have dared to travel with love in our hearts. We now join together in a time of silence.
Each week we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. Giving to the plate is important. It is a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. For those watching remotely, instructions for giving using your phone or computer will appear on your screen. For those attending in person, our ushers will pass the plate. Please join. Sorry. I could listen to her longer, though. Please join me in saying the offertory words printed in your order of service. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
It is with delight in my heart that I share with all of you this opportunity to welcome new members into this Unitarian Universalist community. Ours is a community of transformation and pluralism, and that includes within our membership. As we continue to grow and change, we will have people come and go. We will have babies born into this community, and we will have members die. We will have members of this community join us and leave us at all stages of life. Together we journey towards wholeness, the light of our chalice, the shared symbol of our faith, illuminating our path, bringing warmth, joy, and a sense of wonder to our collective journey. Today we celebrate and welcome the following individuals to our community. If you are here with us in person, please come on forward and join me up front now. Christina Cerruti, Elisa Collins-Zinda, Simon Conrad Reingold, Emily Dallas, Deborah Deal, George Eager, Bridget Fetzko, Dia Gribshaw, Robert Kessler, Sally Kessler, Dorothy Stanzel, and Jack Zinda. For those members whose names I called out but could not be here with us in person, we will hold them in our hearts as we speak our words of welcome this morning. You all can shift things slightly if you need more room. You can move that way a little bit. It's all right. You can make this work for you. All right. I now invite the community, those here in the sanctuary and those at home, to join us in reaffirming our commitment to one another. You're going to find the words on the screens up behind me, starting with our new members. So new members, you can see I highlighted that for you. All right. Go ahead. All right, congregation, it's your turn. We welcome you as we welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision in times when it is easy and in times when it is difficult. We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out in courage to us, but also when you need us to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals, and when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully bring alive the spirit of love. We welcome you as an equal member of this congregation, of this faith, and of our shared spiritual journey. And now we get to all do this part. As we continue to live into our covenant with one another, we do so with joy, friendship, and hope in our hearts. May we create connections, find inspiration, and engage the world together. With joy in our hearts, we recognize, lift up, and bless each new member. All right, I have a small gift for you here. I know, right? This is what the flowers are for. A rose, which is a symbol of the beauty that is joining in community together and the growth that you all bring, enriching us with your many gifts. So as I offer a rose to everyone, please everyone join me in appreciation for these wonderful people who have chosen to join the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Get one? All right. I know. Here you are welcome, friends. Here you belong. Over 75 years ago, Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams wrote about what he called the prophetic church. And as a lover of science fiction and fantasy, I feel pretty well acquainted with the idea of prophecy, right? You don't see it quite as much today in the fantasy novels, but the stories of my youth were filled with cryptic words, often in rhyme, that always seemed to foretell doom, but somehow in the end, you realize they were actually describing the triumph of our main character, usually an unassuming young man who turns out to be the last descendant of a long line of kings, right? But that's not the kind of prophecy that James Luther Adams was talking about. He said, "The prophetic liberal church is the church in which all members share the common responsibility to try to attempt to foresee the consequences of human behavior, both individual and institutional, with the intention of making history in place of merely being pushed around by it." I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty pushed around by history right now, right? Every day, it's another action coming out of Washington that is threatening our society and is in direct opposition to the values of our faith. And I can predict the outcome. I could foretell, if you will, actions are going to disproportionately harm marginalized groups. They're going to damage the environment. They're going to continue to widen the economic disparities that already exist in this country and weaken our democracy. But John Luther Adams, he goes on to talk about the difference between foretelling and forthtelling. Right? One is to simply attempt to predict what will happen, and the other is working to bring forth the future that we desire. So if we want to do more than simply be witnesses to what comes next, we need to become forthtellers. So how do we do that? How do we become a prophetic church? How do we come together acknowledging our communal responsibility to attempt to see what the consequences will be of what is happening right now? In the midst of all of the political turmoil, how do we even begin to predict anything instead of just making wild guesses? And from there, how do we work to shape history? For me, this idea of a prophetic church has two aspects of it. One is imagining what this community could be and bringing it to life. Every time we welcome a new member, I begin to imagine what is possible with you here. Every time someone comes up to me to tell me that it's their first time, or their third time, or their 10th time, or their 100th time, and how they have found meaning in this space, my mind starts to dream up an even richer and more vibrant community. What do you imagine for yourself and your role and experience here? Do you imagine a deepening connection and involvement? Do you imagine forming meaningful relationships and living out the values of this faith more fully? Do you imagine a community that loves your children? Do you imagine finding a place where you belong? Or do you struggle to picture what that might look like? How to break into what can feel like closed circles of relationship? And if that last part resonates with you, I want to share that those of us who have been here for years sometimes struggle just as much to imagine how we can communicate to the people as they walk in the door that we want you to be a part of those circles of concern. We are doing our best to widen them, to include everyone, to offer them not as a barrier to keep people out, but as a kind of gentle hug to welcome people in. And I could say that there are no circles, but we know that's not true. Our lives are full of circles of relationships, circles of family, friends, colleagues, classmates. Sometimes those circles overlap, and sometimes they are separate and distinct. And that's okay, right? We're a social species. We're meant to come together in groups. We form bonds through shared experiences. But there can also be a tension with that, right? A desire to both widen our circles and invite people in, but also to keep them exclusive, to hold people close, to avoid change because we all know that sometimes change can be painful. But transformation is a part of who we are as UUs. And we know that we are blessed every single time someone changes us with their presence. And that's a large part of the symbology of our flower communion, which we'll be having in a few weeks, that we create change when we join a community and are in turn changed ourselves. So what is this community that we dream about? And how do we bring it into being? UUA President, Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, said recently, "We are called to meet the moment together as one living tradition. Each of us as individuals and every one of our communities has wisdom to offer the whole. We are relearning the best of congregational life together as we continue to rebuild from quarantine, engage in our re-articulated shared values, and respond faithfully to the needs of a changing world that is broken and still beautiful. We are called to meet the moment together, and we are still relearning how to be a community, to connect to one another, to care for one another, to offer to one another what we are able, and to ask for what we need without feeling shame or embarrassment. So that's part of the reason why last week, for those of you that were here, I invited people to write down a need, a small need. It was 1 hour or less of time, or $25 or less in value, and to give one another the opportunity to fill those needs. This is how we start to fulfill that prophecy, how we become forth tellers. The board is still up. There are cards and pens near it. It's in the parlor. And I want to invite you to add more needs, or take a card if you see something that you can provide. If you have a rototiller, you might find yourself to be very popular. So this is how we bring forth that community that we all need into being. And this imagining what this community could be, so that's only half of it. The other half is this community imagining together how we can transform the world. John Luther Adams went on to write, "Whatever the answers may be, this much we can say. A church that does not concern itself with the struggle in history for human decency and justice, a church that does not show concern for the shape of things to come, a church that does not attempt to interpret the signs of the times is not a prophetic church." History is being written right now. How will we respond? How will we work to dream into being the world that we all so desperately need? And I think part of the challenge here is that we are so steeped in this patriarchal, capitalistic, oppressive society that we can't even imagine what a truly just society would look like. Frederick Jameson said, "It's easier for us to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism." It is easier for us to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. Can you imagine the end of capitalism? Can you imagine what it would look like if the resources of this earth were utilized in a fair and equitable way that also didn't harm other beings on this planet? Can you imagine if every person was truly free? If people were free to express themselves and live their lives authentically without fear? If every person was safe and sheltered and fed? Because in some ways, to me, that feels harder to imagine than fantasy worlds full of magic and prophecies, right? Those I see represented in media all the time. And even those worlds are based on embedded systems of wealth inequality and are steeped in violence and oppression. Our imaginations can't even create fantastical other worlds free from the societal injustices that pervade our reality. Walter Brueggemann said, "The task of prophetic ministry is to nurture, nourish, and evoke a consciousness and perception alternative to the consciousness and perception of the dominant culture around us. Our culture is competent to implement almost anything and to imagine almost nothing. Because imagination is a danger. Thus, every totalitarian regime is frightened of the artist. It is the vocation of the prophet to keep alive the ministry of imagination, to keep on conjuring and proposing futures alternative to the single one the king wants to urge as the only thinkable one. We need to keep imagination alive, to kindle the flames. We need to keep proposing possible futures and then do our very best to bring them into being. And we aren't responsible for doing everything. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do what we're able. Ashley C. Ford said, "The goal of the oppressors is to limit your imagination about what is possible without them, so you never imagine more for yourself and the world you live in." What could we imagine if there were no limits? What could we do if we started believing that we were truly capable of anything instead of existing inside the boxes that society has made for us? What could this community do if we came together as one and became a prophetic church? A church that makes history instead of being pushed around by it. Patricia Jimenez tells us that true liberation requires denunciation of oppression and then a further step, annunciation, telling what the future will be regardless of whether that prediction comes true within our history or not. Telling what the future will be is an opportunity for us to dream. It's an opportunity for us to tap into the creative magic that happens when each person is encouraged and expected to be a creative agent. When the response creates a new community of love and justice, we become co-creators with the divine. We don't simply have to imagine a community of love and justice. We can bring it forth. We can write a different kind of prophecy for our world. And we can build a new way together. Friends, I invite you to lift your voices with mine. We're going to sing Building a New Way, which you can find on your screens or in the teal hymnal. And I invite you to rise and embody your spirit.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are worshiping
may we take a moment to imagine the world that we dream about. May we bring that vision forth into our minds and our hearts, along with the knowledge that while our service this morning may be coming to an end, our calling in the world is not. May we continue to not just foretell the future, but to actualize it here and beyond. May we embrace justice and equity as the embodiment of what is possible. May we continue to move forward with love for one another and this beautiful and broken world. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service is ended. Let our true service now begin.
Stand up and sing with us, friends.
Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Thank you, friends. Go in peace.